Focal points are the areas in your illustration that will draw in the most attention, the highlights of your piece. So it's crucial as an illustrator to know how to create and use them. In my illustrations, I know of 3 ways to create focal points. One is by using contrast. Whether it's in value contrast, shape or size contrast, contrast by definition will make a given area stand out. As long as our chosen area feels special relative to its surroundings, it will draw in attention and create a focal point. For example, in this fan art I made a while back, Fern stands out from the background because there's color temperature contrast. Her skin and the wood are the only warm tones in the painting, making those areas more noticeable. The second way I create focal points is by using pointers. Pointers can be physical objects or visual effects that directly lead towards your areas of interest, directing the viewer's eyes and creating a focal point. But the most subtle yet effective way to use pointers is with eye contact. There was a social experiment where a person stands in the streets and stares into the sky, and over time people get curious and join in and try to figure out what he's looking at. This is the power of the eyes. We tend to be curious of what other people are looking at. So in illustrations with multiple characters or interactions, the interaction with the most people looking at it will draw in the most attention. Although this would require one or more characters to be looking at the main character or whatever kind of interaction is going on. So this can only be used in certain situations. And last but not least, we have natural focal points. Humans are trained to read each other's body language and facial expressions, so we automatically tend to look at the hands and face first. And since these areas naturally draw attention without needing to do anything, natural focal points are a lot more about how and where we place them. So generally speaking, try to avoid placing the hands and face near the edge of the canvas. Alright, now that we know more about focal points, let me give you a couple of examples, and I want you to try to identify where the focal points are and what type of focal points they are. Ready? So this image, the focal points would be in these areas, using pointers, value, and color temperature contrast. What about in this example? And what about here? You'll notice that most of the times, just by using a couple of these elements is enough. These concepts are different tools we can use in different situations, and we don't necessarily have to use all of them at once. Now that we know how to guide the viewer's eyes using focal points, we can now focus all of our rendering in those specific areas because we know people will look there first. Next, let's cover how we actually go about rendering.